So today we have Col Ashokan K, a very renowned officer who is the director of a very reputed and one of the best coaching academies in this country, Olive Green. And sir is right before here after a lot of clearing protocols. And if we come and discuss regarding such little background, sir previously was a GTO of 11 and 19 SSB Allahabad, and sir got commissioned in Army and Defense, and sir has served around more than 30 years in Indian Army. Sir has also did lot of corporate OBL trainings, as well as sir has got a lot of motivational trainings for the youths and youngsters for the leadership in both defense as well as corporate. Sir has also been a former Mr. Kerala and a very renowned and accomplished health and fitness trainer. So a warm welcome, sir, on behalf of whole community of defense fraternity as well as the next officers group. And
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you.
thank you so much, sir, for coming and for giving very good and valuable talks for the day. So, sir, it's a very privilege enough for us to have you on board. So, sir, now since you have did a lot of service, sir, we all sometimes feel that serving for more than 10 to 15 years is very humongous, sir. But you served for very big number of years. So, what was that motivation, sir?
You see, when you join the army, you are not looking for a job. Armed forces, it's more than a profession, it's a way of life. So when we select also, we are not looking for job seekers in the armed forces. Because this is an expression of your passion for the nation, an expression of patriotism, and it's an honor to wear the uniform to safeguard our motherland. You understand? So this is anybody who wants to have a cushy job, a job which is giving you lakhs of pay, and a class from listed officer job equivalent to IAS, IPS. So if you're looking for materialistic, considerations and pleasures, army is not the place for you. Then you must look for an outside job. So this is a passion. So that is why our armed forces is the best army in the world, and the officers classes is supposed to be the best officers in the world. And whenever United Nations, we have peacekeeping forces there. Indian contingent officers most of the time come first in the complete world because of our quality and holistic personality. So that is why we are taking the best. Right?
Correctly pointed out, sir, that we are the best, and Indian Army as well as all the three services are doing really great for the safeguarding of the nation. Sir, you served in a forces as well as in a particular technical background, a technical regiment, which is the Army Air Defense. Sir, how is this similar to Army Aviation thing, or it has got any difference in thing, or is
okay? There is a lot of difference, poles apart. But it's very interesting. I should tell you. I was a commerce student. Yeah. I did my post-graduation commerce, and I was getting a lecturer job in commerce in Kerala. I'm a Keralite, otherwise I'm a Malayali. When I joined the defense forces, it is out of passion only. But then it was a short service commission because I could not go with the max background. So I went for short service commission, where the entry is only for English and general knowledge, so it is very easy to clear. But selection process, the SSB is same for everybody because we are looking for all the leadership qualities in the youngsters. So there I was in the super block. I was in the training time, I was a company under officer of Nushara company, and naturally as the leader of your company, you will be participating in most of the games and sports. I was a boxing champion also of the company. We did well, all of us. So I was in the super block. So it happened so that I was influenced by one of the instructors, in a very passionate manner. I was so influenced. He was a very adorable instructor. He was in Army Air Defense. So I said, I will go to Army Air Defense. So those times Army Air Defense was not a different arm. It was part of the artillery only. Artillery is with guns firing long distance. So we were part of artillery before 1990. So I didn't know much about it actually. So I said, sir, you are in Air Defense. I'll also come in Air Defense. So being super block, you are given what you ask for. So that particular point of time, I didn't know Army Air Defense is such a technical arm, and a science background or electronic background is a very important requisite. I was not aware of it because it's a new arm, it was a nascent stage. So I got it, and I joined 510 Air Defense Missile Regiment, self-propelled industry, and I came and joined the unit in Chandigarh, Zirakpur, that's the exact place. So it was a shock to me when I was introduced to the equipments that everything is electronics and physics. And I have left electronics and physics from my SSLC, 10th standard onwards. I never studied it. So it was an uphill task for me, I should say. I had to start physics, electronics from the scratches. And I burned my midnight oil to learn physics. And I spent limitless hours to learn electronics from the basics to be an expert in my equipment, because my equipment was missiles. And that too, the missiles came from, after that 510, my unit was there. Then I went to another unit also. It was a highly sophisticated missile equipment unit. Missiles came from Russia. Those times air defense was just booming. So all our equipments were, Russian equipments. Now we started having our own domesticated, designed by DRDO, as you are aware of. But those times it's all Russian equipments we had. So the missile system I trained was called Ozak. The meaning of Ozak in Russia is the wasp. The wasp. It was so, stings like a wasp. Very potent missile system. A short-range missile system, but it was a very potent missile system and a sophisticated missile system of the world. One of the best air defense missile systems in the world, SAM, surface air missile systems. So it is all electronics and electronic warfare. So it was a challenge for me to, expertise, being an expert in the missile systems. And as a youngster with Captain, I fired the missiles. did a wonderful performance there also. So it's a challenge. So why I gave this background is, in the army, you're a jack of all arts. But there is a proverb, jack of all arts, master of none. But here I will change it. Jack of all arts we are, but masters of all. Okay, because as an officer, you would be expert in the equipment also. You would be expert in the vehicles also you run, because we are had all A vehicles, solid, armored, plated vehicles. So you become expert in that also. You drive the equipments also. You will fire them also. You manage the troops also. You are learning administration also, and you are a trainer also. So this is a multifarious requirement for an armed force officer. That's the reason. Again, come back to that. When we select armed force officer, we go into a holistic personality of the youngster. 15 qualities we look into. Okay.
Yes, sir. Rightly pointed and very well said, sir. Jack of all trade, but master of all. And this quote will always be remembered for by all the candidates whosoever are watching this session. And
Yes.
That will be a limelight, and that is what even officers, that is what even SSB is looking for. Sir, if we come to the specification of, like, sir, you being into army or defense, and then going to a domain where exactly officers are being selected, basically the potential officers, the SSB. How was that journey converting, coming from AAD to this SSB domain, sir? How was that shift and journey?
Oh, that's a long journey. That's a long journey. But then let me tell you, every army officer also is a behavioral scientist also. Because if you don't connect with your troops, you don't understand his sentiments, you don't understand his passions, if you don't understand his weaknesses and strength, you cannot command them well. So as a military leader, we automatically learn how to gauge the mind of other people. Most of the youngsters, or rather you will find most of the armed force officers, they cultivate this habit, they emulate this habit. But you asked me specifically, I had a little special interest for psychology and human behavior. So I used to read a lot into psychology. I used to read a lot into human behavior and group dynamics as a leader, individually how you should perform, and confronted with stress. Because military leadership is a very high stress-prone job. So you will find a leader in the corporate sector doesn't require stress management the level what we want from a youngster. So training also helps a lot to manage our stress. But if you can understand your troops well, you can read their mind well, definitely you are a better leader and you can get the best out of them. So that was one thing which attracted me. So I took a special interest from as a youngster, as a young officer only, for personality grooming, training as such on personality. And I took a lot of interest in learning this. So that is the reason when I had the right opportunity, I jumped into, become an assessor for the officers. So I specialized as a GTO, though we learn all the 3 techniques of interview and psychology, we learn as such because it's a holistic technique. It's not compartmentalized. Like an examination where you have to write an exam and pass it, and next time you can pass another examination. It is not done in SSB. Most of the children, or rather most of the youngsters, have this myth about SSB that, we will learn GTO, we will clear GTO, then, then we will learn psychology, then we will clear it, or interview we will learn. It's not possible. This is all myth. It's a lot of, misconceptions about the selection process. So finally, we are coming to talk this today. It's a holistic, approach to your personality. We are going to see 15 qualities of your personality, which I told you, and we are going to see this personality from 3 different angles. Okay. So then, of course, I got selected to go to a very, elite organization called DIPR, Defense Institute of Psychological Research, which is there in Delhi, which is a DRDO lab under Defense Ministry. So we all get trained there. DTOs, psychologists, interviewing officers, all of us get trained there. And that is how my journey as a assessor and a personality trainer got very serious for me.
Yes, sir. Sir, when we were as a candidate, so we always felt that कि जब कल को हम recommend हो जाएंगे, हम officer बनेंगे, तो हमें भी assessor बनना है. So sir, during your time, was it that feeling, and like how was that moment when you got recommended and when you actually wanted to become an assessor? वो वाला zone.
It is like this. When I joined the armed forces, I never thought I'll become an assessor or a selector, or rather I'll be training youngsters for personality. You don't really know what your destiny lies in front, But definitely, let me tell you, if you are selected at the SSB in a top rank that is cleared by all assessors in a very high manner, that is how you will be recommended to become an assessor. So your initial performance in the SSB is one of the pointer, rather for selecting you as a selector. This will be seen. How was your performance in the SSB? So if you're poor performance in the SSB, आपको हम बुलाएगा नहीं है ये course करने के लिए. You understand? So we really don't come to know that. But let me tell you, when we were going through, I was talking about, I did my SSB in Bhopal. So that time there was no coaching. These days everybody runs out of coaching, but then it is not coaching. I will come back to you later in this discussion only, interview only. See, we are talking about SSB coaching. It's not about coaching. Coaching is what? Coaching is spoon feeding. Like any examination, you are preparing for an examination and preparing a syllabus. That is called coaching. But in SSB preparation, this is a personality assessment going to happen. So what is the preparation required? It is leadership training required, not coaching required. There is a huge change between coaching and training. So please understand this, and you must insist that most of the youngsters who are aspirants for SSB or defense aspirants, they should know they embark upon coaching as a methodology, तो भी SSB क्लियर नहीं कर पाएंगे. ये चीज बहुत लोग बताता नहीं है. ये कितनी कोचिंग अकेडमीज है, मशरूम थाउजेंड्स एंड थाउजेंड्स इंडिया में है, ये लोग आपको बताएगा नहीं कि कोचिंग और ट्रेनिंग में फर्क क्या है. So when I was there in the SSB, once I joined SSB 11 board, I started. I was a senior GTO there and 18 board also, correction 19 board. So that's the time we realized, after a tenure, after some time, we realized that what we are looking for in a youngster and what the youngster has come with, दोनों में जमीन आसमान की फर्क है. The expectation level we have about an officer, how an officer should be, what's the kind of qualities we are looking for, what is the raw material to become an officer is required to be, और जो चीज लेके बच्चा आ रहा है, the youngsters are coming, they are very badly coached. They're badly coached. Coached means they become artificial in their personality. They're behaving as if they are somebody else, or rather they imitate their instructors, their coach. They're imitating them. But the moment you become a copycat, the moment you start imitating your instructor, or the moment you try to fake your personality, we will come to know, yaar, we are no fools sitting there. We are experts in what we are doing. हमारा काम ही यही है. We see through you. हम तो 5 मिनट के अंदर पकड़ते हैं आप लोगों को कि कितनी झूठ बोले तुमने, कितनी ब्लफ किया तुमने, कितनी तुम अपने आप को express कर रहे हो और अब कितनी तुम फील कर रहे हो अपनी पर्सनालिटी. You will come to know. You don't require 5 days of interview. We need only 5 minutes of interview actually. But we keep you for 5 days so that you are very happy that I have been seen enough. So that's the point I want to tell you. So when I was there, we used to discuss this among other assessors also, and we realized one thing, that the interface between the expectation level of SSB board and the expectation level of students or rather trainees or the candidates, there is a huge difference. बहुत अंतर है दोनों के बीच में. So we decided that time, this is our core group, including me, Colonel Gadio is my senior partner here. And we used to discuss, and Colonel DJ Still was also in my team, the Retd. So we used to discuss on the brink sometimes that we should do something about this. Because what churning out from coaching academy is totally right. They are not good to become officers because they are misguided. These students, ये youth की गलती नहीं है, but they are misguided because this is a new game. They never knew this. ये platform किसको पता नहीं ना. तो ये coaching आदत डाल के आता है. Now you also said a little bit before SSB coaching. You know why? Because I hate coaching. That is the reason when I came out with voluntary retirement, we got the team made up and we started Olive Green Institute 2005. This is the 19th year running. Okay. So what we decided that time is we will not do coaching. We will not be known for coaching SSB. We will be known only for leadership training. That is the reason Olive Green's name is not a coaching academy. We call ourselves Olive Green Institute, a leadership institute. Because leadership training is not for SSB. It is for lifetime. आपको जिंदगी के लिए लीडर बनना है. सिर्फ एसएसबी के लिए थोड़ी बनना है. सिर्फ एसएसबी के लिए तो लीडर बन रहे हो, तुम फ्रॉड है. इसमें तो उसके बाद में तुम वापस आके कॉमन बनेगा क्या? So remember, we are not looking for a sheep. We are looking for a shepherd. So you must show that I am here to become a shepherd at the SSB. If you are part of the herd of sheep, तो बकरी ऐसे पीछे जा रहे हैं दूसरे की, और you are imitating, or you are mindlessly following others, looking always for help from others. You are not there. I am not looking for you.
Yes.
You understand what I am saying?
Yes, rightly pointed, and the students will get a better idea about exactly.
This is the message I want to give to every youngster who is an aspirant, because 90% of the youngsters are misguided, unfortunately.
Sir, if we cover more about your service thing, sir, you have posted to various locations, and army defense is needed everywhere throughout the country, no doubt whatsoever terrain it is. Sir, so how closely you have seen the modern warfare situation these days as compared to the last time, and how changing dynamics are happening, and what would be piece of things if candidates are preparing particularly for army or defense as their choice of regiment?
You asked me a question which answer will really go into 2-3 hours. It's a very vast subject you tickled, but I'll give you a very short, whatever concise answer for it. See, army air defense is the futuristic warfare. That in itself, because we have got missile systems, gun systems, and radar systems to guide these missile systems, and we have surveillance radars also. So what is surveillance? So there are 2 types of radars which you should notice. One is surveillance radars, and then are fire control radars. Surveillance and fire control. Okay. Now, surveillance radars are there to look for the enemy aircrafts who are planning to attack us. Okay. So the moment they cross the border, or before they cross the border only, the surveillance radar, which has got a range of 400-500 kilometers, will detect them in the air. Then they will start following them. This is called search radars. They can call search radar rules. There are many kinds of radar systems, which I am not going to too much technical things. Just to give an idea. So the surveillance radars, which call search radars, they will search the radars, search the enemy aircrafts, which are coming to attack us, destroy our, we call it, BPs. BPs means vulnerable places and points. Assets, because in a war there are assets. What are assets? Basically air drops, tank columns, then ammunition dumps. These are all assets which the enemy is looking for to destroy to, finish off our war effort. Okay. So once the search radars latch onto the enemy at an appropriate distance, they will hand them over to the fire control radars. So there is something called fire control radars. So fire control radars are radars which are now basically latched onto the missile systems and gun systems. So now the fire control radar will take over the target and will now start giving data to the gun of the missile systems. So missiles have got various ranges. Is the search radars, which are called surveillance radars. Okay. They are pretty good range. They have 400, 500 kilometers. There are many types of radars. Okay. Now, these radars hand over the target to the fire control radars. Fire control radars are short range radars, but they have more precision following with the precision test models. Okay. Now, this fire control radars, what they do, they hand over the target to the gun systems and missile systems. Now, missile system has got various ranges. It can start with 200-kilometer range also, 100-kilometer range, 40-kilometer range, 30-kilometer range. Short range radars भी है and short range missiles भी हैं, 10-kilometer range also. Okay. So, as the aircraft approaches you, now that particular missile system will take on. So, the moment the aircraft enters our range of the missiles, missile is launched. The moment missile is launched, the missile is now controlled by the fire control radars because radar is locked on to the target. Right? Now, the target data is continuously fed to the missile. And there are many types of missiles. Okay. There are heat-seeking missiles, guided missiles, right? Remote controlled and celestial guided missiles. There are so many missiles. That's why I don't want to go into too many details. But this much you should know. They are all very precision missile systems because aircraft has got very high speed, 3 Mach speed, 4 Mach speed. F-16 has got 3.5 Mach. They are coming in very fast pace. So now this is a war of wits and war of precision and precise minute timings. That is why this air defense war we call minute-to-minute warfare, because if we delay 1 second also to fire the missile, the enemy aircraft will bloody deliver their bombs. Or any aircraft will deliver their missile systems also. They also got missiles. So it's a war of precision and it's a war of wits and it's a war of expertise. So our air defense firers and gunners should be very thorough professionals. Otherwise we are finished. So we have to hit that aircraft before they deliver their weapon system. You got my point here? So that is a kind of warfare. It's a very, very sophisticated warfare. And the enemy aircrafts also will use many fooling methods we call electronic warfare. They will try to fool us. They try to, misguide our missile systems. So for example, giving a simple example, suppose say the moment we fire a heat-seeking missile, aircrafts are very, they are all smart aircrafts, okay? The moment we fire a heat-seeking missiles, now the heat-seeking missile is coming towards the aircraft. Now, aircraft is somewhere around, but then we have calculated the speed and we are going to hit the future position of the target. So missile is coming towards. Now it is a heat-seeking missile. Now, what is that heat-seeking? It is seeking the exhaust of the plane because exhaust is very hot. So naturally the heat is coming from there. So these guys, what they do, the moment the aircraft comes to know, smart aircraft say they come to know it's a heat-seeking missile trailing them and it is coming faster. What they do, they detach a portion of their exhaust, which is called a decoy. They detach it and they will move away from there. You got it? Now what has happened, this detached exhaust portion will attract that heat-seeking missile, divert the target, and the target is lost. You understand this point?
Yes, sir.
So this is called electronic warfare. What they done is electronic warfare. Now to counter them, there is something called electronic countermeasures, ECMs. Now that ECM also can be countered by something called ECCM, electronic countermeasures. So it is like, to give a very simple example, you have seen chipkali, lizards. तुम चिपकली के पीछे भागेगा, बिल्ली देख लेना, वो अपनी टेल को काट के छोड़ देता है. तो बिल्ली का अट्रैक्शन टेल के पास चला गया और बिल्ली टेल के पीछे भागेगा, चिपकली भी खिसक गया. You got it? Yes. So this is exactly a nature's way of electronic warfare. It's the same technology there. Technique is same. Okay. So sometimes when this comes to electronic warfare, ECM, ECCM, we are reminded of the Ravan Ram Yudh. You see, Agni Astra भेज दिया बस वरुणास्त्र भेज दिया, अग्नि को खत्म कर दिया. You see? So it is like that. Who has got the best astra? जीत जाता है. Similar kind of warfare is happening in the air defense warfare. It's a very, very interesting subject. Very interesting subject. But it is so technologically loaded. And now with the new thing which you asked me, what is the latest happening in this, is the drone warfare. Now drone warfare has come in a very big way, which is drone warfare is again got an advanced lead, which is called cloud warfare, swarm warfare. What is swarm? It is a cluster of drones coming and attacking together. Got it? So there is no end to the electronic and latest technology in warfare. Every day, as you said, it is changing. The complete spectrum is changing to a sharper hit systems, sharper kind of probability of hits. And if you see the latest which is going to happen in the world today, the drone warfare is going to be in the center stage in the coming days. It's going to come. Now you see the Ukraine war, which is happening also last 3 years it is happening. Russians tried their might with the conventional warfare, conventional tanks, conventional ships when there. But they were surprisingly defeated. Small place like Ukraine could defeat a mighty war machine like Russia, but just by using electronic warfare. And they are using drones. And they used drones in a very effective manner. Same thing, if you look, there is another very great war happened 2 years back, and it is still continuing. That is war between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Armenia is a very strong force backed by Russia. Azerbaijan, a small place, and only backed by Turkey and some Israeli drones. And they massacred the Armenian army only using drone warfare. Not a single person died, but they destroyed their complete tank force. So the complete the mechanism of war is changing. The doctrine of warfare is changing very, very fast in this world. Today, the latest doctrine is small is bigger. Bigger is not bigger. If you're small, you're more sharp and you're more effective. Yes. That is the reason the Russians got defeated in this Ukraine war. Yes, understood what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Very
right. It's a बहुत बड़ा vast subject है. अभी when I start talking about it, I can talk hours together on this. Okay, you ask a different question now.
Yes, rightly pointed. And sir, to summarize the whole thing, even the way you pointed the Army and Defense, even the Indian Navy is also doing the same, and the Air Force is also doing the same, and that is why.
Another question you asked, which I missed to answer you, that was Army Aviation. See, Army Aviation Corps is basically a wing of artillery only. But they are basically what? Aviation Corps is been designed to be a air OP. What is air OP? Air Observation Post. Their job is to go nearer the enemy as close as possible, have a aerial view of the enemy position, and give a feedback to the gun systems behind. Artillery guns. So they will direct the gun fire. Because the artillery, officers who are firing it, the gunners who are firing it, they are not able to see the target. Target is away. So what this AeroP does mostly, AeroP is designed to go there nearer to the top. It's a very dangerous job, and naturally because they are going nearer to the enemy. And helicopter is like a sitting duck in the air. Anybody can shoot it. Okay, so it's a very dangerous position also. So they are basically AeroPs. So they will go near the target, direct the fire towards the enemy positions, and they will do adjustments of the air. Though Army Aviation has started with that only, but then now Army Aviation is used for many operations, rescue operations, reaching immediate medical facility to very advanced troops, right? And aviation officers are running, the pilots are all officers. They are doing a tremendously adventurous job. Every day they are braving the vagaries of weather. Now you see there are certain aircrafts like Elude 3 and 4 and all available, Elude 2 and 3 थे. So these aircrafts का ceiling height, you know what is ceiling height? Is the height which can be maximum. It is around 17,000 feet. These pilots every day cross the ceiling made by the company. Can you beat it? They go beyond the ceiling height every day, not only one day. And that is the place where you are exposed to any time a crash, and you will not believe I have gone in that helicopters to that height. When I was in Siachen, I was in the area. I was a staff officer to the infantry division, pre-infantry division as AIG. So I was looking after all the evacuation process, the whole Siachen glacier area. You will not believe, once they cross that ceiling, the helicopter starts shivering like a, like a bird in winter. It is so, you feel so insecure sitting in this because the whole engine is now, flattering. That was the kind of situation. And every day these pilots do this, go there, they try the limit of that aircraft, and they do every day a bravery of rescuing troops, sending the right equipments, some spare parts, some ammunition sometimes, and mostly evacuation of the casualties, which are almost like in that kind of height, there is a very big sudden emergency happens called pulmonary oedema. What is that? This is lungs started getting filled up with air-filled water. So the soldier dies within 2-3 hours. There is no way because your heart, your lungs is collapsed. So you have to immediately evacuate them and bring them to a vacuum chamber. We call it that. We have that facilities down there. But the base में लेके आना पड़ेगा ना उसको. So the helicopters only can do. And many times helicopters, when they reach there is a weather pack off, and in such kind of places, Himalaya में तो weather तो 1 second में pack off हो जाता है. And imagine they are going to minus 50 degree, 60 degree temperature. Sometimes we airdrop people there and bring up the patients up because कई जगह पे आप land नहीं कर सकता. इतनी area नहीं है उसके अंदर. Because there, in very high peaks में there is something called pillar effect. Pillar effect क्या होता है कि when in summers, because of the sunlight, what happens is, the post becomes like a pillar. Why it's happening like a pillar? Because the gun is on top, so चारों तरफ से बर्फ पिघलना शुरू हो जाते हैं. So slowly a pillar forms. And in certain posts there, and Kumar post now is 18,000 feet के ऊपर है, 17,000 plus है. उधर तो pillar itself is 20-30 feet height, and the troops go onto the pillar on a ladder, rope ladder, and there imagine a patient becoming suddenly almost fatal. He has to be evacuated. The helicopter cannot land there. There is no space to land. So they are in the air, and the bloody patient is pulled up. I had gone for such a rescue operation. It was madness. I mean, every second you are exposed to anything which can happen to you.
Yes, sir.
So this is the kind of scenario I am trying to tell you.
Yes, sir. Very well said, and it was a very nice explanation by you regarding the army in general and army air defense in particular. And I it is a very high chance that all the candidates out here who are seeing this video session, as they have got a very rich experience from directly the horse's mouth of army air defense, and whosoever are preparing for SSB in particular, so they will have a very good edge that कि कल को हम army air defense join करें and to continue the same legacy as sir has did. To summarize everything sir has pointed out regarding his service experience, starting from where he started, and being from a commerce background, sir joined to a technical regiment which is army air defense, and previously it was in an artillery thing, and now it has got a separate regiment in itself. And sir has also covered about army aviation corps and how sir and along with his such team have got the right mindset to help the candidates out here, for all the people out in this country. So thank you so much, sir, for this service experience, and we would love to hear more about SSB in the very next session, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.